Hi friends, welcome back. My name is Deja. I'm a traditional astrologer, and today we're going to be chatting about the new moon in Taurus that's happening on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 at 11:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be different. The time will be different according to where you are. The chart will be different according to where you are. But the new moon is happening at 18 degrees of Taurus. And if you're looking, you can already see the new moon right here. It's at 18 degrees, 18 and 2 minutes of Taurus. This is, quite frankly, the best new moon of the year. I'm pretty sure you can take me up on that one. I'm pretty sure this is the best. There's a Gemini one next month that also has Venus and Jupiter, but the ruler of that new moon is Mercury. And Mercury isn't like explicitly great or explicitly bad. It depends on like who's Mercury chatting with. But in this instance, this new moon is ruled by Venus. And if you can also see my screen, reference the screen in front of you, Venus is in Taurus, ruling this new moon. So it's like the best, the sweetest, the most enjoyable, the most pleasurable new moon. And also, first the moon interacts with Venus, and then at the end of it, the moon interacts with Jupiter. Right before the moon leaves Taurus, Jupiter and the moon also kiss. So it's like just ah. It's the little luxuries, it's the little happiness, it's like the good dinner, the good blanket, the good music, the good vibes, just like the good relationship, the good attachments, the good love, all the good Venus things, the good smells, the good perfume, all of that. And maybe you're able to share some of that goodness with others. There's more of a sense of growth with Jupiter, that kind of the scale of Jupiter compared to Venus is bigger. It's like having all these great experiences and also wanting to share them with the world. So I think it's both of those things, and it's great. And also Jupiter is just blessings overall. Jupiter will just bless whatever they're doing in the sky. Jupiter's like, here's a blessing, but the blessing depends on the sign. Nevertheless, let's get back to the new moon and just chat about that really quickly. First, I want to talk about Venus. I want to talk about the moon. And I also want to briefly talk about this. Well, yeah, mood. I also want to talk about Saturn, because Saturn is going to play a role in this new moon a little bit. It's a nice role. So, like, and then I also want to talk about this being the second decan of Taurus, which everyone is kind of obsessed with right now. I'm obsessed with right now, primarily because of my girl, Kira Rydberg. She's amazing. And we're going to look at just a snippet of her 36 decans guidebook. So if you all are interested in more of the decans and understanding and learning about that, I absolutely recommend all of her work. She's brilliant. We love her. Regardless, this new moon to me is like such a sweet treat after the chaos of April and of eclipse season, on like a larger, more long-term scale. But on a shorter scale, it's a sweet treat after this weekend's Aries moon. And this is the first time that the moon is, so before the new moon in Taurus, the moon is currently, when I'm recording on Sunday, May 5th, the moon is in Aries and is meeting up with Mars and Mercury for the first time since Mars ingressed into Aries last week. So, and whatever the moon is doing, whatever the moon is touching in the sky, she's translating it from the heavens. She's translating, and she's transmitting the stuff that's going on in the heavens to Earth. The moon brings an earthly component. She brings all that stuff down that's going on in the heavens. She brings it down to Earth. She grounds it. She's like she's like sending us information from the divine. Whatever she's touching, she's like giving us a touch of that on Earth. So right now, the moon with Mars is the feltness of it. We're getting a highlight on Mars. We're getting like a little bit of an intensification, more earthly feltness, body feltness. I made feltness up of Mars in Aries. So that's uncomfortable. Mars is the warrior. Mars is about severing, cutting, fighting, aggression. And I don't know if you all have been keeping up with the rat beef that has been going on, but Drake is getting annihilated by Kendrick Lamar. It's wild. It is so wild to witness. It's beautiful. I love witnessing it. And also, I also think that I need to give a little shout out to my girl Megan Thee Stallion for kicking off the downfall of Drake in general. Way back in January. Hiss was only about Drake. I don't care what anybody says. Hiss was just about Drake. I don't know where Nicki came from. The shoe fit her, but the shoe was definitely not meant for her. That shoe is meant for Drake, for Aubrey Graham. So that's hilarious. Anyway, we're witnessing the downfall of him. I find that really great and really hilarious. He's been doing some really shady, weird ass shit for a long time. And I'm glad I'm here to witness it. So yeah, we've been seeing a lot of fighting words. Mercury and Aries fighting. Just the girls are fighting. And if you watch Chris Brennan's episode on Mars, on the astrology podcast, he talks about how, like, when Mercury and Mars are together, there's fighting words. And, like, you think of rap battles, you think of, like, all those sorts of things. And there was an example he gave, and it was just it's so funny to witness it now again. It's just, I love when astrology is just so real, and it's just, I love it. Anyway, so after that tumultuous eclipse season, after that, this awful Aries new moon that we're living in, literally that I'm living in right now, God bless you all if you are, God bless you. Anyway, it's also like, it's closing down. The moon is losing light. It's like, she is like fighting and clawing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, when the moon is at that last bit before the new moon, she's not happy. She's very angry. And that's true technically, and it's also true with this contact with Mars. So, regardless, we're going from, where the contrast is going to be so interesting, going from Aries, a moon ruled by Mars, and Mars in domicile, to Taurus, ruled by Venus, the moon in exaltation. This is all about rest, relaxation, making sure that you have good food, making sure that you have good company, good drinks, good music, good vibes, good blankets, good all that stuff. Just like joy and pleasure on a very, very tangible, felt sense. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, so we're getting the very tactile approach to Venus. We're getting the good scents, the good perfumes. We're getting the good meals, as I already said. We're getting the good pets from the beautiful, sweet cows. You know, like, I love cows. They're so sweet. I want to cuddle with one so bad. But anyway, let me check with my notes really quickly before I start, like, just continuing to rant. This decan of Taurus, this is the second decan of Taurus. I don't know if I mentioned, I think I said this in this video because I recorded one before, but I'm just like so nervous. This is the first time that I've recorded a YouTube video to talk about an astrological thing to forecast by myself in a really long time. So I'm just a little like, oh. So if I seem nervous, that's why. I'm just like nervous. It's been so long. And I want to make sure that I'm saying things that are like helpful, you know? Okay, regardless. This is happening in the second decan of Taurus. Oh yeah, I did, because I was talking about Kira Ryberg, my girl, and her work on the decans. Yes. Okay, so this is happening in the second decan of Taurus. And all of the decans are associated with a tarot card. What are the decans, Deja? You may ask. Well, each zodiac sign is split up into three like parts, and it's by 10 degrees. So if each zodiac sign occupies 30 degrees of the 360 degree wheel, imagine the whole sign is broken down into three different parts. And there's also other breakdowns too, but that's other stuff. And it's all equal, yeah, three equal parts. It's about 10 degrees. This is really confusing. I think I have it. I have my Essential Dignity table. I used to have it up on my computer and I'd show you, but I can't right now. Anyway, so, and it's like the faces, the decans and the faces, you see, this is hard. You know what? At the end of the day, just please take my word for it and like, no, let's see. Essential Dignity. Okay, I should be able to just like get it immediately. Yeah, period. Okay, get bigger though. I'm gonna just like pull this here so that we can just like make it bigger. There we go. All right, so we see here, so there's all this different dignity that like the planets and stuff like that, or the planets have in certain signs. It's all broken down in different ways. The decans are this section right here. You see where it says decans, face, first, second, third, da, 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 da. See, each of the signs have different things. So we're at since this new moon is happening at 18 degrees of Taurus, we know that it's in the second decan of Taurus. Okay, we've got that squared away. Yay! Each of the decans are associated with a tarot card. And what I was saying about what I'm not 100% certain on is like the origin of the relationship between the two. There is an origin somewhere, and I just don't remember. Regardless, this decan of Taurus is associated with the tarot card, the Six of Pentacles. And for anybody familiar with the tarot, this is the Six of Pentacles. It's this guy, and he's got some scales. He's giving stuff to people who look like they're in need. They look like they need help. And this is also after the Five of Pentacles, which is the people who are like outside of the church, and they're like really, there's a lot of despair, financial despair. The pentacles in the tarot are associated with earth and the earth signs and money and, you know, jobs and all that stuff. So this is the decan that this tarot card is associated with. So there's a sense of like, this guy has a lot of stuff, and he's able to give that stuff out to other people who are in need. In Kira's guidebook, she talks about how this, and also in Austin Kopic's 36 Faces, he has a book also on this as well. It's a little bit more tricky to access because I don't think there's any more physical copies out there. So Kira's right now is the most accessible. It's available on her website. I'm just a Kira fan, so definitely go check it out. I got my hands on the guidebook. It's a digital download. You'll have it forever. Anyway, so she talks about how this decan is about consistency and dedication, and kind of like the balance, and trying to find a way to strike a balance between consistency and dedication and passion and fertility and fecundity. That's the word that she uses, and that also Austin uses a lot to describe this decan of Taurus. How can we dedicate and commit ourselves to pleasure, but not necessarily, but to pleasure, to goodness, to growth, to the Venusian things? How can we dedicate ourselves to making sure that that sort of thing stays consistent and prevalent in our lives? I also think it really calls us to ask ourselves, like, what are we willing to dedicate ourselves to, dedicate our efforts to, and how those things will like continue to show us support in the long run? How do we like put our passion into something, put hard work to a certain extent? Because I feel like Taurus works hard and plays hard, you know? So I feel like how do we not plays hard, but no, Taurus plays hard in terms of like, not like rage, but like plays hard in bed. How do we like take our time to build a sense of consistency and growth? How do we dedicate ourselves to creating this Venusian experience, to creating the love, the good food, the good company, all those things? How can we commit ourselves to maintain, to bringing that into our lives and ensuring that it's like not going to go anywhere? Because the fixed nature of Taurus is very much like, I want the things that are brought in here, this area of my life, I would really like it to stay the same. I'd really like and maybe not even like stay the same, but how can I make sure and ensure that it is stable for a long period of time? How can I make sure that like it is like consistent? There's a stability and consistency that comes in with all the fixed signs, but especially with Taurus. And the consistency is pleasure that Taurus is looking to maintain. How can we ensure that our happiness, our needs are consistently met? This new moon is really calling us to do that, and also providing us with the resources in order to get that done, because Venus is in domicile in Taurus, and she's the ruler of this new moon. She has the final say. So whatever Venus says goes, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, I'm so grateful for that. It's so beautiful. I love Venus and Taurus. I love Taurus as like a sign, as an energy. It gives beautiful, luscious garden to me. It gives cottagecore. And I also think a lot of times people don't realize how much effort and energy is required to maintain a garden. It's not easy to have a farm. It's hard work. It is hard labor, and it takes consistency. It takes dedication. You can't just plant the roses once and then go away and expect them to. No, you have to water them, you have to tend to them, you have to prune them every now and then, you have to make sure that they're alive. Maybe one year like they're not going to be super, super pretty, but the other year they are. Like, how can we make sure that like they always are, they always have a good year or something like that? I don't know, it's kind of like making sure that your parsley regrows every year, your basil sprouts every single year. Yeah, and if you think about like even in the northern hemisphere, Taurus is spring. This is the time of the spring started, the seasons changed, Aries season, and now we're at a very consistent time. The weather is pretty much the same, except for this past weekend. This past weekend was annoying. It was so cold. It really made me sad. But after we get out of this, the weather is going to be consistently 60-ish degrees. It's going to be consistently nice outside. The flowers are beautiful. They're blooming. I just was outside earlier, and my neighbor has this beautiful like bush. I don't know if they're roses. I don't know. There's just like a beautiful flower. And I was like, wow, gorgeous. That's Taurus. That's what this new moon is. We're not rushing. We're not racing to a finish line. We're not like trying to like go super fast. We're taking our time, because we're not going to be able to maintain that type of speed. If we're going fast, you're not going to be able to maintain that in the long run. Taurus isn't really trying to move super fast, because I feel like there's an awareness of like what can be maintained, what can be dedicated to, what's like, you know, like there's an understanding of like, I'm not trying to really put my energy into that, because I know what actually deserves my energy. And Taurus is really good at like, that's not worth my time. I think we're getting that. So I also want to talk about how before this new moon, Saturn is also involved in this lunation as well. So the moon will first chat with Venus. So the moon will be trekking along, da 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 da. We'll have a little chat with Venus. Hey Venus, what's going on? Give me the rundown of like what's happening here in this area of our lives right now. And then the new moon is at 18 degrees. Saturn is at 17 degrees of Pisces. Right before the new moon, Saturn is going to engage with, the moon is going to engage with Saturn in Pisces, which also kind of doubles down and calls in this energy of consistency, dedication, longevity, all those sorts of things. Saturn is very much like, is this going to stick? Is this here to stay? And if it's not, get rid of it. I really think that, as I said, doubles down and supports this consistency, dedication towards fertile ground and like maintaining a fertile land. Saturn is supporting that. And it's also supportive because the aspect is a sextile, and sextiles are Venusian aspects. So it's like Venus is in control. This is all about Venus here. And I just think it's so beautiful how we're getting that in so many different ways, and not just in just Venus and Taurus, but it's like all in all these other like technical things. Yeah, and I think it's gonna be really helpful for Saturn, and it'll also help the moon too, because it'll help her to be more grounded, a little bit more tethered to, she was already super tethered, but like I also feel like the waterness of Pisces, of Saturn and Pisces, will make it a little bit more like, all right, let's figure out how we're like connecting, how we're healing, how we're feeling all these things. What does that mean? How are we going to connect with this? How is this connection going to be in the long run? The longevity, Saturn longevity. And I also feel like Saturn gives us a boundary. She's giving us a guideline to adhere to remember, and to like abide by. There's kind of like this, okay, but don't forget about your responsibilities. Don't forget about how long this is going to take you. It's just kind of like, all right, just, yeah, which is really helpful. I think it's really, I don't love Saturnian energy. I love Saturnian energy when it's in a nice, helpful aspect. Not oppositions, none of that. When it's nice and helpful and supportive, and when he's not loud and yelling in your face to get it together. So yes, I'm grateful for this, for Saturn and Pisces for this. Regardless, okay, let's see what else. Let me check my notes to see what else I have to say about this new moon. So first, the moon engages with Venus. Check in, what's going on. The moon is like, what am I trying to put down on Earth? What do the humans need to know? That's happening first. Then the moon chats with Saturn and is like, all right, again, what do the humans need to know? Before I go into hiding, before I start this new cycle, what are the things that I need to consider? And then we have the new moon. So then the moon starts a new cycle. Yay, 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 new moon, woohoo. And as she doesn't gain that much light, but as she continues through Taurus, she's also going to hit up Jupiter before she leaves and goes into Gemini. So again, it's like at the beginning of the transit, it's like, here's a cute treat, here's a fun treat, here's a good dinner, here's a delicious chicken Alfredo. And at the end, it's like, okay, and now you can like post it on Instagram or share it with your friends. Have a couple of friends over and you can share with them. I will also say it's probably going to be more so of that because technically speaking, Venus is, I'm not sure if, I think she's combust right now. She's hidden. She's 8 degrees away from the sun, so she's no longer visible in the sky. And that phenomenon is really important in astrology because it also speaks to how that planet is manifesting on Earth. If a planet is kind of hidden by the sun, that means the sun is like overtaking the sun is like overpowering that planet and making that planet invisible. So the things that Venus may be speaking to, the things that she's maintaining, or the new endeavors that we may be embarking upon, the new gardens that we're planting, the new seeds that we're sowing, may be more hidden. We may not be sharing this with the world right now. This may kind of be like an internal, a private sort of new beginning that we're all having. This gives baby making. It absolutely gives baby making to me, and it's so funny that this is happening with Cap Rising. And so if any of you have Cap Rising out there, be careful, don't get pregnant. I'm not a fertility astrologer. I don't know your chart, so don't quote me on that, but I do get this is giving fertility. I think I may be wrong, but I think so. So just be mindful of that, Cap Risings. Obviously, like, it all depends on your chart and what's going on in your chart, or maybe you just have like really good sex, you know what I mean? But with Saturn, kids are permanent, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm walking away from that. I'm just glad I'm not a Cap Rising. But yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like this new moon is very much like new beginnings that we know begin, and not even initiating, because Taurus isn't about initiating things. It's kind of like receiving blessings and like starting a new lunar cycle, and finding ways to maintain our garden. But our garden is things that we absolutely are qualified to maintain. Venus is, again, very well resourced to help us maintain the garden that we all have. And I think that it's kind of stuff that we know that we're going to be able to continuously tend to and get goodness and joy from, which is beautiful. And we're going to be able to manage these things and dedicate ourselves towards these things, dedicate ourselves towards the growth of this thing. And it's here to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. They're going to stick around. And we're going to be improving the reality, improving the reality of things. That's what we're doing. Taurus is getting real. And Taurus is like, let's get real about, if your Aries rising, let's get real about our finances. How much money do you really need to make every single month to ensure that you have groceries in the fridge, that you're able to go out every once in a while to like enjoy yourself with friends, that you're able to pay your bills, and also treat yourself. You know what I mean? Like, how can we make sure that that is something that always happens? I remember my second house perfection year. I have Aries rising. My second house perfection year was all about that. Every single day, I was like, how am I going to make sure that my needs are consistently met? I do not need anything threatened. I do not want anything to threaten that. I just want happiness. And it doesn't need to be extravagant. I don't need to make like 6 figures. I don't need that. Maybe I do. I'm not going to block my blessings. I don't need millions and millions of dollars every year in order to be happy. I just need my bills to be paid and a little extra for a treat, to treat myself every so often. You know what I mean? Comfortably, without feeling like I'm like sacrificing myself in order to treat myself. So that was a huge second house Taurus year thing for me. But yeah, so if you're out there, as I said at the very beginning, if you have a fixed rising, if you have Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo rising, if you have fixed placements at or around 18 degrees, this new moon could be potent, could be interesting, could be more felt for you. If you're in a moon perfection, a lunar perfection year, a Venus perfection year, a Taurus perfection year. This is going to be something. And I just hope that it gives you and it grants you all of the goodness and all of the great things. Yeah, you deserve it. We all deserve it. And it's just going to be really pleasant. And it's also so nice after all these eclipses that we've had in Taurus and Scorpio. Oh, we're like in a very settled down space, and it feels really good. Venus and Taurus has felt really good so far. And I'm really excited for this new moon to like really like just keep it going, you know? So, yeah. Did I talk about the privacy thing? Yeah, whatever you start now, back to the Kazemi, not the Kazemi, back to Venus being hidden. Whatever you start now, just maybe like, you may just keep it private. You may just keep it to yourself. And maybe in time, it will become something, it'll become public. It'll be something that you share with the world. I think that's all I have to say about this new moon. I hope you guys like this little setup situation. I saw a YouTuber, she was doing something similar to this. She like got on the photo booth and screen recorded it. And I was like, oh my God, that's so smart. Because I don't want to get on Zoom and like do all that. Like that's lame and silly to me. But this is so cute. I love this. And I'm able to like show you guys the chart and stuff like that. And show you guys pictures and stuff like that. So I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you feel so called to do so. Which I hope you do. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I'm also on TikTok. Readings will be opening. They will be coming back. Again, I'm not exactly sure when. I'm still waiting on my election, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be mid-May. It'll definitely be this month. So keep your eyes open and your eyes out for that. As I said, follow me on socials to stay updated. And I wish you all the bestest, most beautiful, most amazing new moon in Taurus. Have a great day. Bye.